your copy of the Son of Man Speaks magazine today. With the Son of Man Speaks magazine, you'll receive automotive tips, wholesome recipes, financial advice, and most importantly, a true understanding of the Word of God. Get your copy of the Son of Man Speaks from these select locations. Sisters, Grade 2, 18070 Mount Elliott, the Shell gas station, 13110 West 7 Mile Road. To get a subscription, call 601-786-9788. That's 601-786-9788. The Son of Man Speaks magazine, dedicated.
Graphic Design provides agency-quality professional graphic design services from established companies to startups and individuals, creating a simple logo to complete rebranding and delivering visual communication with print media. Everything SOS Graphic Design does has a single unifying objective: to set your business apart. We are at your service. Call 313-342-2166. That's 313-342.
Come check out the Sisters Braid 2 Hair Braiding and Natural Hair Care Salon, located at 18070 on Elliott Street. Our new salon is spacious with adequate parking, Wi-Fi, and all brand new state-of-the-art salon equipment. Come meet your local hair braiders and natural hair care specialists, and check out our many hair care services, such as hair treatments, box braids, cornrows, tree braids, Havana twists, children's braids, natural twists, lock extensions, kinky twists, goddess locks, updos, full weaves, and more. Please feel free to visit us on the web at www.sistersbraid2.com or call 313-826-0498. Here at Sisters Braid 2, we offer exceptional care for exceptional hair. We look forward to seeing you. Sisters Braid 2 is a proud recipient of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
We would like to invite you to help support the efforts of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. Visit the website at www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. Find donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. And for more information, 313-868-0000 is a local number. Again, 313-868-0000. Support the Unity and Rebuilding Fund.
The realities of COVID-19 make physical distance necessary, but we can still nurture social distance and interpersonal connection through greeting cards. We may be shut in, but expressing love, care, and concern is never locked out. At Designs by Deed, our mission has always been to connect lives and bring loved ones together, one greeting card at a time. And in today's situation of isolation and social distancing, this feels more important than ever before. Send someone a greeting card of love. We have a wide selection of unique, handmade greeting cards available online at www.designsbydeej.com. That's www.designsbydeej.com to help you share love, compassion, and expression of solidarity. By the way, we are all in this together.
WGPR Detroit, HD2. You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. FM 88.1 WHPR, Highland Park. WVIE 107.3 FM Charlotte, Amalia, Virgin Islands.
Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture and not really understanding
Conference
what you
recording
read? And if
started.
You're reasonably sure
Conference recording
that what
started.
You feel you know, with someone
recording
that has a
has
different
started.
view than your own, then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with WHPR TV Detroit Live, 88.1 FM WHPR. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible? And if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning. You can call them live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 313-868-0342, or 313-868-0351. That's 313-868-4336. Son of Man. On my shoulders, getting stronger and older.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just. I greet all of you once again who are hungry and thirsty for truth and for righteousness. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. Before going into a spiritual subject matter this evening, I want to bring on again our sister Agnes Hitchcock to remind us that we are also natural beings too, and that we have some say-so over what happens on this planet. Every human being on this planet, whether you want to accept that responsibility or not, you are partly responsible for whatever happens on this planet. Every individual. One of the Prophet Muhammad said that if any of us, he said, if a Muslim, well, I've already proven to you that we are all born Muslims. And if we live that every day. When we decide we're going to do something, our body has no choice but to submit entirely to the will of our mind. So everyone was born Muslim. When a Muslim sees a wrong, he should do one of three things. Or the better thing is to do all three. Hate it in his heart, speak out against it, and work to change it with his hands. That's why we have a prayer that we got from the father of the faithful, the man with the title Father of the Faithful, Abraham. It says, surely my prayers, my sacrifices, my life, and my death is all for Allah. Our bodies are like that. You've seen soldiers go to the White House for the bestowing upon them the Medal of Honor, for ordering their body to face death. And sometimes they receive it posthumously, meaning after the person has ordered their body to fall on a hand grenade or ordered their body to do something that they knew was going to cause the death of that body, but would save the lives of others. Even that's covered in the Word of God. Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friend. So, we all understand that entire submission to the will of God is the only true religion. We understand that, regardless of how straight you keep your face when you lie and say you believe in something else. But your very existence is proof that entire submission to the will of God is the only true religion, because you get mad as hell if you try to move your leg and it won't move. Because you know it's supposed to move when you want it to. So no more lying. So, but anyway, now we have a chance to not just complain. We got a chance to say no. It's just that simple. You remember the Wizard of Oz? She's walking around there telling everybody to help her get home. And found that in the end, she could have went home anytime she got ready. Is that right? Is that right? So the moral of the story was there was a higher power that had something for you to do while you were suffering at the hands of evil witches and that kind of thing. He just had something for you to do. There was a person that had been convinced that he had no brain. You know, they make a straw man out of you. You heard the term straw man? When you be arguing with somebody and then they will start putting words in your mouth and say that's what you saying. You remember I had to get on Geno Jennings by trying to make a straw man out of me, didn't I? But if you let people, they will always say, oh, so you saying so-and-so, and that they're making a straw person out of you. Don't let people convince you you don't have a brain, that you don't have a mind. And so all through the thing, in the end, she showed him that you was the one thinking up all of these things to do. You been at her. At least the wizard showed it them that they, you got a brain. You got more heart than people who got that physical flesh inside of you, Mr. Tin Man. And the lion, just because you scared, if you ain't scared, there's nothing to have courage for. Do you understand? So, but they all were helped by the person who they helped. So they all wind up helping each other. So I want you to remember, Sister Agnes, most of y'all knew her before I did. And you knew she'd been in this fight for justice, for our people in Detroit for a long time. Now, she's just reminding you and me, and anybody, no matter where you are, whatever city you're in, the right for you to vote yes or no on whether you want to let people use your finances for this thing or that thing. The first thing that you need to do is show me that if I let you mess with my finances, I can trust you to do with it what you said you was going to do. And that you wasn't just conning me. And now we have, in the city of Detroit, seen that we are not able to trust our officials. That don't mean all of them are not trustworthy, but until we find out who we can and who we can't, don't be asking us to let you stick your hand in our bank accounts when you already know we are poor people and we don't have any money to just burn. No more burnt offerings. Even the Lord says, bring the tithes and offering into the storehouse and prove me now herewith if I would not open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive it. Do that sound like burnt offering? No, don't want no burnt offering. So, Sister Agnes, you come right on in and let people know about this proposal. And
Yes.
And the microphone is yours. Welcome,
Thank you.
sister.
All right. Just want to remind you that in Detroit, we're going to vote no on Proposal N. And we are not going to give them any more of our tax dollars until we get an administration in the city of Detroit that will serve in the interest of the people in the city of Detroit. I was thinking that, I never told you, I don't think I did, that Paramount started out back in 2003. And our mission was to hold elected officials accountable to the people. That was because we had put Black people in office that we felt would work in our interest, and they didn't. At that time, we thought we could shame them. But it turned out that most of them didn't have any shame. They went right ahead and did what it was they thought would benefit them as opposed to what benefits our people as a whole. So that is how we got started. And we used the Sambo dinner to try and humiliate them into doing the right thing. But it never worked. But still, we hold that tradition every year. We hand out Sambo Awards to different Black elected officials who betray the trust of the people in the city of Detroit. And Dennis Archer has a Lifetime Achievers Award. Dave Bing has a Lifetime Achievers Award. So those two are Sambos for life. But anyway, that's just a little of my background. Another thing I was thinking about while I was waiting to come on is that those commercials really sound good. Nice, clear, concise, and professional. So congratulations to Brother Eric for getting those things in order. Next, I want to tell you that the New Nation of Islam, the men are really stepping up. I call their names separately sometime, and if I don't have somebody's name, it's just forgive me for that, and call me and tell me, I came by and you didn't call my name out. But anyway, Mike Brown showed up and he really does a good job. Brother Jameer, Year-Round Landscaping, and I call him his sidekick. They took like 20-yard signs a couple of days ago, and they really work hard to help get the information and education out to the people in the community. Kenneth Beatty came by and got some yard signs, literature. And Brother Love has been with me for a long time. And I know that he works and supports Son of Man's efforts, and he's always been close to me. So I want to give out those shout-outs. Sister Charlene really does good work for the effort. And now we have everything that we need. Today she delivered the banners that we're going to hang up on the sides of buildings. We can't put up digital boards like the opposition, but we don't feel bad about that. We just want to get something up so that our people could see that there's opposition to Proposal in the city of Detroit. We got a good supply of literature, yard signs, banners, and now all we have to do is do this. We have to let people in our community, that means senior citizens in apartment buildings, seniors who have absentee ballots, our friends, relatives, and relations, we have to remind them that Proposal N is a property tax, and it's not good for the people in the city of Detroit, simply because we cannot continue to trust this administration with our money. So just reminding you once again that we're going to vote no on Proposal N. That's what we're focused on. We're going to stay focused. We're going to get that done. And we can do two things at one time. We can remember to vote against Donald Trump in the election. We can remember to vote no on Proposal N. And always, if you see a proposal, what you should do is vote no on it if you don't understand it and really support it. Because I guarantee you, they're going to continue to bring proposals back for the rest of our voting life. So I think I've about said what I need to say tonight. And if anybody has any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them.
Does anyone have their hand up? Okay, well, if you think of something that you want to ask Ms. Hitchcock about, she'll be back on here tomorrow. Friday. This is not Sunday, but she'll be back Friday, and you write your question down so you won't forget it. Because I know sometimes I'll be thinking I want to ask somebody something, and we done forgot what it was I wanted to ask them. And so I learned to make a note. Your phone got a notepad on it. So put the little notepad and write a note to yourself. And she would be more than happy to ask you. I remember one year she gave out a Sambo Award to, I forgot which one of them it was. And he wanted to come up there acting a fool, clowning at the station. They had to run his behind out of there. But anyway, you know, if you do something that that you decided to do, and if you couldn't own up to it and feel proud of doing it, you shouldn't have done it. Get mad. You don't have no right to get angry with people for calling you out for something wrong or something unjust that you did. If anything, you should feel ashamed. And you know, that's why people who do you wrong, that's their proof that they don't have no respect for you. And then when they find out that you ain't no doormat, then they want to come up there roaring and going on like they're going to jump on you. Well, don't back down from them. And God told you, don't let somebody talk about what they're going to come do to you. You tell them you can't leave your behind at home and come after mine. And always remember this, brother and sister. When right is on your side, even when people call themselves angry and putting on all that facade about having some indignation at you, they faking. And that alone should give you enough anger to just tell them, well, okay, you come on. If that's what you think you can do, you come on. I'll fix you. And then whatever you do to them, you justify it. Well, anyway, Sister Agnes, I'll be looking for you again Friday.
I shall return.
All right.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Now, I was thinking about this man of the Marine Corps sick with his foolishness. And this man is out there putting his life on the line for, it's just like them Secret Service men. Every day they get up. They consciously have to convince themselves to be willing to die to protect a man who don't give a damn about them. And that's our fault. You should never elect a man for president that does not care about the American people. That should never have happened. I have a special message for the world this evening. You have heard Kamala Harris. You have heard Michelle Obama. You have heard Jill Biden. You have heard Hillary Clinton. You have heard Barack Obama. You have heard Joseph Biden. At some point in time, before and since Donald Trump got elected president, you have heard numerous amounts of those in government. You have heard them say, we are better than this. It's time for the United States people to say that to the world, that we are better than is being portrayed by a man that deceived us into electing him for president. The best way that you can say that, the very best way, is that Donald Trump should not win one state in this election. That would be the United States' perfect way to convince the world immediately that they truly believe, that the majority of the people in this country truly believe that this country is better than it has been given the appearance of being for the past almost 4 years. I believe it's better. I certainly do. I mean, I'll show you an example. I'm here in Mississippi. I came to Mississippi back in '81. Came back to Mississippi. I was born here, but I came back when I was very young, 31 years old, and I was on the air, and I was on the air teaching a lot different than I am now in many ways. I was a lot less tolerant of white people, and I always have shown respect to them. They can't never accuse me of ever being disrespectful to them, but I was not. And when I first got on the air, my understanding was that they wronged us, they've not repented for it, and they need to be destroyed. And I said that. And I remember once I went into I started writing an article in a newspaper called the Bluff City Post. And so the one who was the editor of it, he was a Mason. He was over a Masonic Lodge, I think. Some kind of way he was a member of the Masonic Lodge. But anyway, one day I went to collect an advertisement, some money for an ad in the Bluff City Post. And the Caucasian that the ad was for, when I walked in, he ushered me back there. And he looked at me and he said, "I'm surprised to see you come in here." I said, what make you say that? I'm not going to call his name because it's not necessary. I said, what make you say that? He said, well, everything I read from you is hate the white man, hate the white man. And so I looked at him. I said, Mr. So-and-so, I ain't got no apologies to make to you for speaking the truth about you. Everything that I said you did that and more. What you waiting on me to say? I'm sorry for not liking what you did? And he looked at me, well, we ain't gonna keep going back and forth about it. But he bought the ad from then. But I think his major thing was he wanted to kind of get the measure of me. And but I have noticed I've gotten respect from white people right here in Mississippi. I done been out on the highway at 12 o'clock midnight with flat tire or whatnot. Ain't nobody bother me. Even though I know Allah's protection is on me, but Allah don't waste his protection on cowards. Because a coward will deny Allah if he think that his life would be spared for doing so. That's why I ain't have no respect for Peter and all them so-called disciples of Jesus. I ain't got no respect. Ain't no sense you bringing up Peter or nobody to me. When they got a chance to show where they really stood, they showed that they didn't really believe. Do you understand? So, but anyway, and I bank here in Mississippi, and the banks are owned by white people. But I've had the owners of banks, of the banks that I've dealt with. If I try to borrow some money and the loan be taking some excessive time, the owner of the bank will ask, well, what's holding up Muhammad's loan? So don't tell me that what I believe is wrong. No, it's not wrong. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me, he said, if you will get up and do for yourself, he said, if the black man of America will stand up and respect himself and will do for himself, his once slave master will come and respect him and help him to do something for himself. I had the national director of the Ku Klux Klan come in here and have a civil dialogue with me. And came back again and told people that they need to follow me. He didn't come in here and call me nigger. He didn't threaten me. I invited him to come back. He said, okay, I will come back. And when he finished, after he told everybody, told the whole audience, he said, you, Mr. Thomas Robb, he said, you should follow him. He said, nah, I'm not coming back in here. That's what I knew what that meant. I mean, he get to talk about, they'll be asking him back there at his meeting, well, whose side you on, mister? So, but let me tell you something. With all that said, I think the majority of white people in this country got a message they got to send. That this country is better than that. Everything has not been a lie. They do believe in a democratic republic. They do believe in that. But you know, there's an old saying. Wrong people are successful. Wrongdoing people are successful when people who believe in right sit back and do nothing. I remember this when Ms. Hitchcock said, not only can you vote no on proposal N, but you can vote against Donald Trump. The only true vote against Donald Trump is a vote for Joe Biden. Any of them other names on there, you missed the whole target. Yeah. So, you know, if there ain't but two, you should treat that ballot like it ain't but two names on that ballot for president. And that is Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And you have lifelong Republicans. Lifelong Republicans know that their party has been hijacked and turned into something that they don't even recognize anymore. Simply because when the first black president was in office, the racism and the racist actions in the Senate and in the House of Representatives that were brought forth against him went unchecked. Even you white people who saw it, who are not necessarily believers in that old racist mentality anymore, you tolerated it. So now God have did you like some grandmamas and grandfathers used to do children who couldn't stay out of the ice cream or couldn't stay out of the cake or whatnot, make them sit there and eat it. Yeah. Since you like it so much, sit there and eat it. I told you to leave that alone. You need to get full. I got enough. No. You ain't got enough. Keep eating. I warned you that Donald Trump, you know, thanks to my teachings, my training under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as the captain used to say, Captain Edward Rashid, he said, brother, and he'd be talking to the whole group of us, but he wouldn't say brothers, he'd just say brother. You know, that made every one of us feel like he's talking directly, at least made me feel like he's talking directly to me. He said, brother, you must learn to listen and then listen to learn. And that didn't carry no whole lot of weight with me at first until I went away and thought about what he was really saying. How are you going to know whether you agree or disagree with someone if you didn't really listen to hear what they were saying. And if you learn to listen when people are speaking, then you can learn what's really in their heart. And then I coupled that with something that Brother Donald told me. I wish I could call President Trump Brother Donald, but I can't. He got a good name, Donald. But his actions ain't nothing like the Brother Donald that I knew, that I considered a lifelong friend. Brother Donald told me, which I told you before, he said, look, sometime when you stand around, and he was telling me about the differences in people. He said, sometimes, like that song say, smiling faces, sometimes they lie. I met that brother who sang that song, Brother Joe Pep. He had that virus and got over it. You know, at least he's recovering from it, and I'm so thankful for that. But smiling faces, and that Brother Donald say, everybody smile at you don't necessarily mean it. He said, what you do? He said, sometimes when you are laughing and talking with people, when you go to part company with them, walk about 8 or 10 steps, then look back at them. If that smile is gone, it wasn't real. Most people, they didn't pay no attention to Donald Trump. He put on that fake smile or whatnot. He's standing there. We're going to drain the swamp, drain the swamp, drain the swamp. And they was all into it, but they wasn't looking at him. He was just telling them what he thought would turn them on. Because when he was talking about draining the swamp, he wasn't talking about the same thing they was talking about. He's talking about just what he's been doing, destroying your government. Washington, D.C., they say is built on a swamp that was drained. So if you drain it again, you ain't trying to get rid of water. What you trying to get rid of? And he just about done succeeded. Now, if Joe Biden get elected, I'm going to do all I can to help heal this nation, just like I promised. But if Donald Trump get reelected, I'm through with y'all. I'm just telling you, I'm through with you. You ain't had to worry about me trying to get out here and say nothing. Whatever happened is because you wanted it to happen. And ain't nothing I can do about that. And ain't nothing I should do about it. Islam is freedom. You know, like they were saying, a person that really want to commit suicide, you can't stop them. Huh? If somebody standing up to me, I'm going to jump, they want you to talk them out of it. Because if they really intended to jump, they wouldn't be saying, I'm going to jump. They'd have been unjumped. You understand? So I say to the world that the friendship that you had with America, France, for instance, you remember when the Allies landed at Normandy and Hitler was weighing y'all out over there? And America came to your aid. England, same thing. Hitler would have been in charge. They'd have Nazi flags flying over your countries now if it hadn't been for the United States. Now, in your darkest hour, the United States did not desert you. this is one of the darkest hours that the United States has had since the awakening. You should not desert the United States. For you know that true friendships they can weather storms. You know, for yourself, you've had friends that fell out with you or whatever, and something happened and you spoke to them and they said something to you that was very hurtful. But you thought about their situation and you forgave them, even without them asking, because you knew they really didn't mean it, because you knew they were better than that. Now, I'm not saying you got to excuse this. This can be a lesson to everybody. But every state in the United States, every state of the Union, Donald Trump has been a clear and present danger to the United States. You need to send a clear and present message that we are better than this. He shouldn't win not one state. Not one. That would be a message to the world that those are not just empty words. The United States truly is better than what has been portrayed for the past 3 years and 10 months. Now, I'll tell you something else. One of the reasons why they wanted turn these fans on. One of the reasons, you don't have to turn them all on, just the front row. One of the reasons that they, as I told you before, they went into that first presidential debate and all of the people who were supporting Trump refused to wear masks in there, was because they were hoping that Joe Biden and those with him would test positive too, so they could claim that wearing masks and not wearing masks, same difference. Nobody, we don't know how everybody got it, but them masks obviously didn't do it. That's what they wanted to do. All you have to do is just go back in your mind. Man stood up there and they say he said that the virus is a blessing from God to him. That's like Pharaoh saying that the pestilences and the locusts and all of the stuff that coming on Egypt was a blessing. Ain't that something? Even Pharaoh wasn't that stupid. Now was he? Even Pharaoh finally said to Moses, take him and go. Get out of here with him. Why? Because he saw all of them things kept hitting him. I told you were going to sit right there and watch them people go crazy right on your television. So, any of you think I have misspoke? Now, let me let you hear something else here.
If there's another term for President Trump, I don't know what happens to America. Truth is really important, but especially in intelligence. President Trump doesn't care about facts. President Trump doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't listen to his experts.
That was Michael.
If there's another term for President Trump, I don't know what happens to America.
I'll tell you what happens to America. It will cease to exist as what it was. And you will not like what it will become. Especially when I take my people and go.
Truth is really important, but especially in intelligence.
Let me tell you something about what he said about the importance of truth. There can be no such thing as true. There can be no such thing as true friendship that is based on lies. You better hear me. Any person that claims to be your friend grinning and shaking your hand and all of the time thinking that you are a disgusting person. Didn't he say he was tired of shaking hands with disgusting people? Who are the disgusting people? It sure ain't the ones that you call liberals, because they ain't over there shaking his hand. It's all of you who support him. You're the disgusting people that he's talking about. To you, to him, you are just a means to keep him in power. Nothing else. He shows you that by no matter how he praises somebody, the minute they wake up and realize that he ain't no true friend and decide that, hey, man, Donald is not right. He's not right. He claims he didn't really know that person, and he's that he's not that close with him or whatever. Next thing you know, he was calling his longtime 10-year lawyer a rat. Ain't that something? Why was he a rat? Because that's what, in the movies you see the mob call people who start telling all of the wrong that they've been doing, and call him a rat. Is that right? I'm going to tell you something else. He's talking about worrying about what Barr, Attorney General Barr, and the way he's turned the Justice Department into a political arm for Donald Trump. There's a simple remedy for that. When they try to spring their false narrative out there, you ain't got to put it on there. You ain't got to help them put false narratives on there. CNN, MSNBC, even Fox, and all of them. Why would you even put it out there? He can bring it all he wants, but you ain't got to put it out there. You notice when people come in here trying to tell me something about somebody and I ask them, you got some proof of this? Well, so-and-so, I tell them, I don't want to hear it. Before you start helping these people lie their way into betraying this country, why don't you do your job before you let something come out and to the public? You should vet it. You should get the proof of it. You should get the other side to it. And if it's newsworthy, make them hold to the practice, unless it's something that is really, really going to show that Joe Biden is about to be treasonous or something like that. You ain't got no business bringing that out now. If you had done that with Donald Trump, he wouldn't be president if you had brought out what they was doing. Just like when you said, when they was telling us that Hillary Clinton was under investigation, why didn't they tell us Donald Trump was too? Huh? Even though that wasn't going to change my vote, because I had already peeped him. You know, I mean, I knew he wasn't nobody you want to be president. Just like that woman, that black woman that was talking about everybody going to be on their knees to him. Omarosa talking about we going to be apologizing to him. What happened before it was over with? She was calling him a racist. You know, sometimes when you like a person and, you know, you've had a pretty good experiences with them, you like to give them the benefit of the doubt. But it wasn't never no doubt that Donald Trump was a racist. You were just willing to look the other way because it was profitable being associated with him as far as you was concerned. And frankly, anyone that thinks that their color is somehow a sign that they are better than other people, they not wrapped too tight no way. I notice you don't say that about horses and cattle and all of that, but when it comes to people, you want to jump to what color they are, make a difference. Nah. You so if you want to let your media be used to destroy your country, that's you. Suit yourself. Nothing I can do about that. Like I said, Allah told me to give you warning. So that's what I've been doing. Which one of my warnings was wrong? Come on in here. You've been listening. Some of y'all been listening to me looking for some fault ever since you heard me. So which warning did I give you that was wrong? It's just like when he was standing up there hugging the flag. And you didn't even know what that meant. If you hug it, it sure can't wave, can it? What is a flag made for? Is it made to be hugged or is it made to wave? Huh? And why was he standing up there hugging it? You know, them big snakes, they wrap themselves around, them pythons and stuff, they wrap themselves around their prey and squeeze it and, you know, crush it Huh? He stand up there with that fake smile again, hugging the flag. Next thing you know, he up there defending a Confederate flag from being taken down. What is that about? The Confederate flag is a flag that was flown by people who tried to destroy the United States government. Now, the truth is, if I know that, every one of y'all, especially white people, you know it too. So, I learned that from you. Now, like I said, the message that you need to send to the world that will convince the world that truly the United States in these last almost 4 years have been portrayed. The way you send a message that it truly is better. Recover. It's one thing to fall down. You know, some of the best of sprinters, the best of runners have stumbled and failed. But they don't lay there. They get back up. Get back up. Get back up. Every state in the union need to say no to Donald Trump. Okay.
Trump doesn't care about facts. President Trump doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't listen to his experts.
That was Michael Hayden. He's the former CIA director, former NSA head. He joined.
If there was another term for President Trump, I don't know what happened to America. Truth is really important, but especially in intelligence. President Trump doesn't care about facts. President Trump doesn't care about the truth. He doesn't listen to his experts.
That was Michael Hayden. He's the former CIA director, former NSA head. He joined a.
They are so caught by surprise that they still speak in terms of having someone in the White House that cares about the country. You notice, he said he doesn't listen to his experts. He's listening to his experts. He's just not listening to America's experts. You better wake up. You even let him get away with going for a 2-hour discussion in private without anybody in the room of consequence but him and Putin. Do you honestly think that he married someone who can hardly speak English and he don't speak their language? Well, I guess, what can I say? One of the worst things you can do is underestimate those who you deem to be stupid. If he's so stupid, how did he wind up in the White House? And the first day almost he got in there, he invited the Russian press in there and told the American press they couldn't come in there. And you let him get away with that. Okay. They told you what was really going on. You just didn't pay no attention. President Obama tried to warn you. You didn't pay him no attention either. And this silly woman who was used and then kicked to the curb when they couldn't use her stupidity no more. What Sarah Palin said, Putin playing chess. Do you know what happens in chess, don't you? You put your pieces in strategic positions so that you can take the king, take the ruler. They done took the office of the presidency and turned it into a clown show. And that was done on purpose. Okay. Let's see what else Nicole did.
Running and growing list of former national security officials who have announced their support for Joe Biden, with a warning against the threat posed by Donald Trump and the threat that he increasingly presents to our safety, our foreign alliances, and our national security. As perhaps made obvious by his amped up Twitter activity, Donald Trump is currently on steroids to treat his coronavirus infection. It's a diagnosis that our next guest, another former CIA director, now warns is just another reason for us to feel alarmed in this moment. In a new book, Director Brennan writes, quote, "I sorely wish that I had never felt compelled to speak out as vociferously as I have against a sitting president of the United States. It has given me no pleasure to do so. But as long as Mr. Trump continues to trample the tenets of our democracy, lie to the American people, denigrate the office of the presidency, endanger our national security, and sully our reputation around the world, I will not relent in my criticism of him." Joining us now is John Brennan. His new book, Undaunted, My Fight Against America's Enemies at Home and Abroad, is just out. Also joining us, former managing editor at Time Magazine and former Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy, my often sidekick, Rick Stengel's here. And lucky for us, both of you are MSNBC analysts. Director Brennan, I want to start on the book. Take me, because I have heard this from former peers of yours in the intelligence community, that you speak for so many of them who, just from that sort of DNA that I think you describe in that excerpt, are just not comfortable stepping into the political fray. You have stormed into the political fray. You have drawn fire from this president, and you have advocated on behalf of American national security, but it hasn't been without a lot of arrows pointed at you. Just talk about that experience and how that informed the writing of the book.
Well, Nicole, as you said, I am uncomfortable speaking out so stridently against a sitting president of the United States. For over 33 years, I served presidents and administrations of both political parties and had tremendous respect and admiration for the seriousness with which they approach their job and their solemn duties. I clearly have seen that Donald Trump does not pay the same type of respect to the office of the presidency. We know that he had no experience coming into office, and I thought I would hope he was going to change his ways, but he didn't. And so therefore, having served my country for well over 3 decades and trying to protect the right of American citizens to speak out freely, I am now exercising that right, because clearly This is a very dangerous time, very abnormal time. And just like Mike Hayden, who you knew and worked with during the Bush administration, Mike is an outstanding patriot. He has served this country with great distinction over the course of his entire professional career. And despite suffering the debilitating effects of a stroke, his voice now is more powerful than ever in terms of underscoring the dangers of a Trump administration that is going to go into another 4 years of trampling our democratic foundations and principles. And as I said, sullying the reputation as well as the standing of the United States in this world. And so therefore, I'm continuing to speak out. It's one of the reasons why I decided to write this memoir, which is much more about my career and my being able to witness history, as opposed to just the interactions I've had with Donald Trump. I met him only once. But clearly over the last 3.5 years, I have felt it my responsibility and obligation to underline just how challenging the future is if Donald Trump remains in the White House.
You know, Director Brennan, if I could just say for the benefit of our readers, we benefited so much outside of sort of the clash between yourself and the president. There have been some extraordinary moments during his presidency, the slaughter of Jamal Khashoggi, and your ability to help us understand what was going on behind the scenes. Can you just broaden the lens a little bit and help us understand what you think has happened to U.S. foreign policy under Donald Trump? And John Bolton gave us kind of an insider account of believing that U.S. foreign policy, at least as it pertained to China and Turkey, might have been so corrupted that he picked up the phone and called Bill Barr. And that's an inside account. What are your concerns just with?
It's sad, but most of you convinced yourself, and I know that it's true because Donald Trump got elected. You convinced yourself that it does not make any difference who's the president, that America will somehow just go along if wasn't nobody president. Well, you got your answer to that. See, what you fail to realize is that there is no such thing. It's just like me as a father, when I had never been a father. Yet, when I became a father, ideas of how to take care of my family started coming to me. I could have just patted myself on the back, but I knew that it wasn't just me. Remember, love is a verb. And when you read in the Bible, it says God is love. What is left out, it's just like in the book, in the school books, the teacher's edition would have something different in it. But the students has a blank in there that has to be filled in. God is the author of love. Do you understand? So, when it came to my babies, the Word of God authored how to express my love for my babies by me getting up, going to work, and getting out, doing things honestly to take care of them. And Allah guided me. Whenever a man, that's the one thing about the history of George Washington, if you go and had taken the time to read it. See, what you didn't understand, but as I start picking up the books, reading them again, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told me to do, because when he said that there are white Muslims in America, I mean, all that time he's been teaching us that the white man is the devil. Yes, the white man is the devil. Then right before he passed, a year before he passed, he shocked us. He had already told us in a couple of years before he passed, he said, in the Theology of Time, he said, Muhammad of 1400 years ago was a white man. He didn't say Muhammad of 1400 years ago was a devil. He said he was a white man. Now, when I heard that for the first time, and which was after he had passed, I never heard the Theology of Time while the messenger was alive, while he was still in that body. I heard them words when they was absent from the body. And I said, I better go study. And then I understood why he said if I wanted to talk to Allah, I better read the Quran, read the scriptures. See, it's certain things the scripture asks, who is he that judgeth another man's what? Servant. How do servants address their lords? I didn't hear you. They address them, my Lord. Is that right? If he says, my Lord, so-and-so, what is he acknowledging? He's acknowledging that he's inferior to the one he's talking to and that he's the servant of the one he's talking to. Is that right? Now you see why God said, and also that nation whom they shall judge, whom they shall serve, will I judge? Huh? Well, if the nation we were serving wasn't God's servant, then why did he say he was going to judge him? I didn't hear you. You don't judge other people's servants, do you? Unless the one they serving is your servant. Is that right? Okay. When George Washington was a general over the Continental Army, they say George Washington, now this is the history they gave of him, that he was often seen in solitude. He would go out into the, in the woods, and he would pray. Now, I think I'm going to let you hear this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad let's see. I probably need to let you see him saying it as well. Not just him. Let's see if I can find it. I know. I think I know how to get it. Give me a minute here. I want to, let's see here. Sometime I have to remember which is which. Even though I study these a lot, I still need to come up to speed on it.
We cannot sit down. We cannot lay down. Yes, sir. There's none objection to you teaching the truth. Get such position. You want to think the Chicago white people for making it possible for us to obtain the country club, for making it possible for us to get in such position where we can prove ourselves worthy of that position. Yes, sir. We thank them. They have did us a great favor. Yes, sir. I don't think that we have nothing to do but to honor and thank them for putting us in such position. Yes, sir. This is their house. And we are here teaching the truth. Yes, sir. They're not objecting to you teaching the truth. As we have white Muslims in America. And lots of them. We have them all over the world. Yes, sir. And they recognize and respect. That's right. Go ahead. You must recognize and respect it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes,
Now, every one of us who heard that was surprised. Huh? Well, if white skin make you devil, well, how can a white man be Muslim? Well, if only black skin can make you a airplane pilot, but if black skin is the only thing that make you a singer or whatnot, well then can't nobody sing but black people, right? But we know that's not how it works. What you think is what makes you what you are. Is that right? It's just like flour. They got what they call cake flour. That cake flour comes actually tasteless. You taste it, ain't got no taste to it. You give it the nature of its taste is based on the flavoring that you put in it. Is that right? Yeah. It's with us. We come here a blank page. The knowledge that goes into us determines the nature of our deeds and actions, because the nature of the deeds and actions is determined by the nature of the thoughts that produce the deeds and the action. So, you can choose. If you don't like the nature of the deeds and the actions that led you to where you are in life, you can change it by changing the mind that and the thoughts that you have been entertaining. You get tired of furniture in your house. You get tired of looking at the same living room furniture, whatnot. You want to change your living room? You can do that. You can take all that old furniture out of there and put some new furniture in there. You can take up the old carpet and put new carpet, or you can put a wood floor where it used to be carpet or whatever. You can change it if you don't like it. You can do that with your thoughts. And that's what I'm offering all of you. That is what Allah made me for. For God so loved the world in that he gave his only begotten S-U-N, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish. Where there is no vision, the people perish. That's another way of saying where there is no vision, the people are blind. And the blind cannot lead the blind. So,
You don't disrespect people that is trying to respect you. Yes, sir. I remember the last time that I was out to the airport. They let me and my followers get on first. Now remember that flag is still flying over America. Yes, sir. Honor and respect the man. Yes, sir. Because he still have his flag. That much that can be entertained between them and us. In that way of respect. Yes, sir. We don't have to get up to try to make fun of them just because you have ruined yourself. And now you have ruined them. That's right, your Apostle. Just remember, yes, sir, that they show you respect after you have ruined yourself. Yes, sir, your Apostle. Show them respect too. Yes, sir. Because when you didn't know yourself, you didn't respect yourself, nor anyone else. That's right. We used to disgrace ourselves and them too. That's right. Because we didn't know ourselves. Yes, sir. But now we respect ourselves and we respect it. Yes, sir. Praise be God. Yes, sir. You go out there disrespecting the honor of this land. They are alone as long as they in power. Yes, sir. I think you will be showing disrespect for the honor that has been conferred on you, yes, sir, and me by God. Yes, sir. Thank you, dear Holy Father. Yes, respect everybody. Everybody will respect you. Right. Right. Thank you. If God give way to them to rule, then you honor their rule. That's right. As long as they're in power to rule, then respect them. Yes, sir.
So I'm trying to, you notice, as he said, if God give way to them, If God gave way to them to rule, then you are honoring a ruler. Huh? Then respect them. Why? Because God ordered us to. Huh? And so, if God gave it to them, then they are his servants. Is that right? So now you see why the Iblis, the devil, he had a conversation with his maker. He said, "My Lord, as you have judged me to be erring, I shall certainly make evil fair seeming to them on earth. And I shall cause them all to deviate from the right way." Huh? You know you were told to love your neighbor as yourself. Have you ever did that? You certainly would not have made slaves out of us if you had loved your neighbor as yourself. So your mind made slavery fair seeming to you. Yes. Even now, the mistreatment that you do to me and my people, some of you, white people, even for us to say Black Lives Matter, you try to turn that into something evil. All lives matter. If that was the case, then why did we ever have to come up with the phrase Black Lives Matter? If all lives mattered, there would have never been no need for us to say Black Lives Matter. We didn't say only Black Lives Matter. We simply said Black Lives Matter. Of course, I know I could have stopped your mouth by saying Black Lives Matter also. But even though also wasn't added to it, there was no secret undertones there. That was just us saying that our lives matter just like everybody else's lives matter. Yes, all lives should matter, but we have seen that our lives don't matter. Not to you. Then you sit up out there and you pretend, you try to muster up some justifiable reason to be angry when we speak out. If you were justified to be angry, you would not have to muster up no fake reason. But now it's almost at the point where it says, "He that is unjust, let him be unjust still. He that's filthy, let him be filthy still. Him that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still." Do you know what that means? That means that time done ran out on you. That means that whatever you are, you're not going to be able to change. Because the time for you to have accepted that which would have caused you to change and would have helped you make the change. And it is called grace. You know, when you are given a grace period, that's a period of time that eventually ends. And now that I see the insanity that I warned you about, I told you it was coming. When have you ever heard Donald Trump mention God? Have you thought back? You notice every time he says something is this or that, it's always basically the opposite of what it really is, huh? He said this virus is a blessing. 211,000 now, 212,000 and counting. He says it's a blessing from God. When we know it's just the opposite, huh? It is the consequence of you listening to the devils that's inside of you instead of the voice of the angels or messengers of God. You chose to listen to your evil voices rather than your good voices. Matter of fact, you decided that you was tired of resisting devils. You know, that's what you have to do when you submit to God. That's what enables you to have the power to resist the evil thoughts that you have to just curse somebody out or to be disrespectful to other people. And you thought you was, you know, Donald Trump gave you license. He gave you license to ignore everything you used to claim you stood for. Huh? Yeah. So he gave you an excuse to let it out. In other words, he told you to give up. Don't even try to be good. Just forget all that. And when you stop submitting to the word of God, you have no power to resist the devil. That's all it's just like if you have a candle and it burn out, or if you have a lamp, a kerosene lamp or whatnot, and you ain't got no extra oil for it and it burn out, then ain't nothing, you in the dark. So you didn't have no oil for your lamp. The word of God is oil for our minds to be enlightened with uprightness, so that we don't be walking around here like thinking animals. Because without the word of God, that's all we do. We live our lives on the level of a thinking beast. And we become slaves to our desires, like all animals. He's a slave to his desires, to his instincts. And even though you have not seen any animal besides yourself, which you taught us in school that man is an animal, which is a lie, but you have had us believing that. And when you can get a person to believe that man is an animal, then he can justify acting like an animal. Because after all, man is an animal. So they tricked you into thinking that you are an animal. Do you know of some other animals that study architecture? Do you know of some other animals that's launching themselves out into space? Do you know of some other animals that take animals and experiment on them to come up with medicines and stuff? Do you know of some other animals that write books? Do you know the meaning of the word animal? Because if you understood that animal is an acronym for animated malcontent, how could you refer to man as an animated malcontent? Because whatever breaks man's peace, whatever environment man does not like, that he's not at peace in, man can actually change his environment. What animal do you know of that can do that? And then if you ask them, I mean, say, well, do dogs go to heaven? They said, no, dogs can't get in heaven. Dogs don't get to go there. And, well, and if one animal can go, all animals ought to be able to go, shouldn't it? I didn't hear you. Man can, with the right knowledge, make himself contented and at peace. What animal can do that? What animal do you know of that makes his own clothes, makes clothes for itself? That farms and makes vehicles for him to go around and drive in and to fly in and to... What animal do you know of that does that? And since when did God become an animal? But because you did not know the truth, the natural mind seemed all-knowing and all-wise. But now that you have a spiritual mind that is connected with a natural mind and the two have become one, you have found out how bankrupt the natural mind really is by itself. It's like a planet without an atmosphere. Huh? That's what we have been without a spiritual eye. without a spiritual mind to go along with the natural mind. We were like a planet without an atmosphere, the walking dead. Spiritually dead. So I'm here to resurrect you. You see? For I was dead. And now look, I'm alive more and more and more. And if that wasn't talking about me, when it says, I'm he that liveth and was dead, saith the Lord. Yeah, that's me. And I'm alive forever, just more, and have the keys of hell and of death. Huh? Yes. So I say to the world, it's like I told the young man Monday, you know, when he was trying to tell me about Malala, that she was shot over there and she didn't want to come here. They just brought her here for because, you know, to try to save her life. And when I asked him, why did they bring her here? You know, that kind of caught him off balance. They brought her here because these people were the most knowledgeable. Do you understand? Well, if they were the most knowledgeable, who made them that way? God did. Where did Malala get the idea that she need to be educated instead of just carrying on the old ways of, you know, just being a dumb woman? Tell you where they got that idea from. They got that idea from watching women in Western civilizations, and especially women in America. You understand? They realize that a woman is not a fool. She have a brain. She has a ability to grow and develop a mind just like a man does. And in a truly civilized society, that opportunity is made available to all. And whenever you feel that you need to stifle the mental ability of those who you refer to as inferior, that in itself is a confession on your part that you feel that you are inferior to them. Because you feel like they will overtake you and you won't be able to manipulate them anymore. And so that shows that you feel inferior yourself. Otherwise, how are they a threat to you? How is them being educated a threat to you with your superior self? And as long as you don't see yourself as a part of humanity, instead of being separate and above humanity, you will always feel deep down that you have to hold others back in order to keep your position of advantage over them. I don't have to hold nobody back. Because I know that progress for man of every kind is made by those whose minds are able to grasp and understand what the rest of us long for. There's a few of us who grasp and understand how to get us there if we have sense enough to put the resources at their disposal so they can serve us. Let he who is greatest among you in knowledge use that knowledge to serve the rest. Let him be the servant of all. But you don't seem to understand that when it's all around you. Here we get sick. And we don't know what to do. Just like right now. It's one part in the scripture that frightens me every time I read it. It says in all their affliction, what? Now, I know I'm the he that's talking about. But you think this virus don't frighten me? Yes, it does. Whether I'm going to get it or not, I don't know. Maybe, because it is, even though it's 5 times more deadly, it is a type of coronavirus that the flu come from and whatnot. So maybe I can escape that one. Because I have had the flu before. Do you understand? And even when I had the flu, I was isolated from the rest of my family. I didn't go out among them infecting them. Now all of a sudden, even when we had the flu, all these people walking around here without masks and stuff on, they know good and well that when they used to get the flu, they used to try to stay out their children's face, and they would sometimes even put masks on. Now all of a sudden you want to act like you can't wear a mask. Which tells me that this virus is doing something that the scientists, they kind of touched on it. They don't dwell on it. But they say it affects the brain in ways that they still don't know the depth of. I can tell that, you people, Donald Trump, poor thing, he ain't no true friend. And consequently, he's surrounded by people that ain't no true friends of his. True friends don't let you hurt yourself. True friends don't encourage you to do things that is harmful to yourself and others. And because none of you are true friends, now you've all been lumped together. As the book says, in the harvest, I will say to the reapers, go, gather all the tares together and bind them in bundles to burn them. This is over here in the 13th chapter of Matthew. You know what they say about birds of a feather? They all flock together, don't they? It says This is Jesus explaining the parable of the sower. He said, he answered and said unto them, this is the 37th verse, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. He said, you wasn't way back there and sowing none of these. Didn't all of them tell you that the Spirit of the Lord was upon them? Didn't it say that when I came and I was judging, I would say to people, when I was hungry, you fed me. And when I was thirsty, you gave me drink. And the same thing that's what would be said to those on the right hand and those on the left. It was said to them that when I was, you notice, the ones on the right in Satan's world is the wicked. And the ones on the left is the righteous, the ones who believe in right. You notice they call the ones on the left what? Liberals. You look up liberal and you see that it means a lot of good things. Huh? Okay. But that's the weak side. It's the left is the weak. Right? What did Donald Trump call all those who volunteer to go and give their life for their country? He called them losers. He called them suckers. And if they die in the process, he called them losers. Huh? Right? Okay. So what do you think he showed you? I mean, it didn't, this virus, you couldn't hardly tell a change in him because he'd been this way pretty much, even when he didn't have that virus. He didn't care about nobody. I mean, he got his Secret Service riding around with him while he sick with that contagious virus that has killed 212,000 American citizens. And I'm not talking about in a year. I'm talking about since January. $212,000 American citizens are dead from a virus that he knowingly called a hoax when he knew it was not. So it says, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. And as you did it to the least of them, it's just like Jesus, Moses, David, Solomon. Well, what part of your body ain't you? That's why I'm somebody that you don't particularly want putting their hands on any part of your body. If they go to touch, you say, don't be touching me. Huh? And they don't just say, well, I'm just trying to touch your hand. That's me. Huh? So they say to the Lord, they say to me, when did you get nailed to the cross? When was your head chopped off? When was we do that to you? As you did it to the least of these, my brethren, you did it unto me. Only the head of them can talk like that. Your head speaks for the whole body. I speak for all of the righteous. You notice, I used to say things like this and people would be unmuting their phone trying to argue, right? Didn't I tell you was going to soon shut your mouth at me? You ask anybody that grew up with me, did they ever know me to stand up and purposely lie to them? And not only even when I was a little boy. What do you think they was calling me, that little know-it-all? Because I wasn't just telling people things. I could argue and offer you some kind of proof of what I was telling you. So I'm used to people secretly disliking me. That's that. I grew up with that. That's par for the course. So, he that soweth good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. That's how you know you're at the end of the world. It's a pandemic raging through humanity like that fire raging on the West Coast, like those fires on the West Coast. Huh? The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. When the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. Remember that? It says, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. As I looked at these, it's just like when those whales was eating that algae that had a fungus in it or something that was, let me see if I can find that. That was frightening. Let's see. See if I can find it. Might be. I think this is it here.
It wasn't a sight rescue teams wanted to wake up to on day 3. 200 more whales, all dead, discovered on a reconnaissance flight, a whale stranding record.
This is definitely the biggest in Tasmania. We believe it's the biggest recorded in terms of numbers in Australia.
Crews were already racing against the clock to save some of the 270 pilot whales found on Monday. The discovery of the extra 200 just a few kilometres away brought with it more bad news.
We can confirm that 380 whales are dead.
The newly discovered whales are believed to be part of the same pod, dying early on, then moving around the harbour with the current. In some better news, frantic rescue efforts have paid off for dozens.
The good news is that we have saved 50. So now we have a total of 50 that have been taken off the bar and placed in deep water and appear to have stayed there.
Another 30 are still alive and crews hope to push them out to sea soon. The whales themselves weigh around 3 tonnes, which is making rescue effort most of the towing. The freezing water, icy wind and rain is adding an emotional toll.
It's hard to see so many whales just trapped here, but it's good to see.
June 23rd, 2015. An observation plane flies over the Atlantic coastline of Patagonia, Chile. 100,000 square miles of pristine wilderness. As it passes above a remote inlet, a camera captures a series of white anomalies on the shore below.
There are these large objects lying all across it. It's hard to tell exactly what they are.
When the crew flies lower, they discover a scene of true horror. Hundreds of whale corpses litter the secluded shoreline.
This is a lot of whales. 337. That's unthinkable. This is an unprecedented biological catastrophe.
Experts are stunned. This is one of the largest mass whale deaths in recorded history.
Something very big had to have happened to affect this many whales at the same time.
Marine biologist Rob Nelson studies the footage to identify which species has died on these shores.
These are sei whales. You can tell because of the dark gray and the irregular white markings on them. They get over 50 feet in length.
Weighing in at up to 28 tons, equivalent to 4 African bull elephants, the sei whale is a true heavyweight of the seas. Nelson considers what type of predator could take down these colossal beasts.
There's only one marine mammal which will actively hunt and kill a large whale, and that's the orca or killer whale.
Orcas are only around a third of the size of sei whales, but their brains are much bigger.
When size is not on your side, then you have to strategize. They're like velociraptors in the ocean. They'll target a mother whale with a newborn calf, and they will separate the child away from the mother whale. They're vicious.
In pods of up to 40 strong, orcas attack larger whales by taking turns ramming and biting their chosen victim. Then they launch from the water onto their prey, blocking their blowhole, weakening and exhausting them.
They are fantastic hunters. They basically work like a pack of wolves in the...
Sir? Soon, the airwaves are going to be free for truth. If they didn't want it shown, why they put it on there? But anyway, at one point, they showed that those whales had ate something equivalent to virus that got inside of them and just poisoned their whole system. And they was just beaching themselves. That's what you remind me of walking around here in the middle of a pandemic, boasting that you're not going to put no mask on. And then when you look at some of the deeds and actions of these people who refuse to wear a mask, you know something ain't right in their head. If you talk to them a little bit, you discover that something ain't right. Huh? Of course, you don't even have to talk to them. There's somebody in the middle of a pandemic watching their fellow citizens get reported sick and dying. And they walking around here acting like it's something big to not wear a mask. I'm afraid the damage already been done to your head. You like the Holy Quran says. It says, and what will make you, this is in chapter, let me find it, chapter 101 of the Holy Quran. And it's entitled, The Calamity. The calamity. Let's see here. Let's look up the word. calamity. An event that brings terrible loss, lasting distress, or severe affliction, a disaster. Excuse me. Dire distress resulting from loss or tragedy. A disaster or misfortune, especially one causing extreme havoc, distress, or misery. A state or feeling of deep distress or misery. A great misfortune or disaster, a catastrophe. Grievous affliction, misery. What would you call this pandemic? A calamity? The calamity, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. The calamity, it's an explanation point behind it. What is the calamity? And what will make thee know how terrible is the calamity? The day wherein men will be as scattered moths. Haven't you ever looked at a bonfire and been astonished how moths will fly right into it? They fly right into the fire because they are attracted to the light or whatever. But it's amazing, they fly to their death. Isn't it amazing how many people walking around in this pandemic, ignoring the science, ignoring the doctors, and just, excuse me, ignoring reason. And talking about they got a right to not wear a mask if they don't want to wear a mask. As though it's somehow an infringement upon their freedom to tell them to wear a mask, not only for your safety, but for the safety of others that you could infect unknowingly. That used to be a no-brainer. Now it's a political argument. What can I say? Men have become as scattered moths, flying into fire as though it's a normal happening. And the mountains will be as carded wool. Carded wool is a brush that they go put on wool to get it ready and separated to get it ready to farm into materials. So the mountains are as carded wool now. The school systems is mountains of spiritual knowledge. And now you can see the difference in the, you notice people go to universities and they separate them according to the schools of, like it may be the school of engineering, the school of medicine, the school of law, carded wool. And it says, then as for him whose measure of good deeds is heavy, he will live a pleasant life. Yes. You know why? Because if you do a lot of good deeds, then it's a wonderful thing takes place. Not only do you learn to what you be doing, you learn to be good, but good becomes a habit. And when you live you live your life in the doing of good deeds, then naturally you get good results. And so you will have a pleasant life. And it said, and as for him whose measure of good deeds is light, the abyss is a mother to him. Yes. Darkness, ignorance, delusion, the abyss of misunderstanding is the womb in which he dwells perpetually. Delusion. You know what delusion is when you lie so much till you start actually believing that your lies are true. Huh? Sound familiar? And what will make thee know what that is? The abyss. What will make you know what that is? A burning fire. Yeah. Anything you leave in fire long enough, fire gonna win. I hate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm the more I look at this world and the people in it, excuse me, the more I see it's not a whole lot left for me to do. I am. But I have not give up on you. I'm hoping that you will send a message to the world that truly the United States of America are far better than what has been seen for the past 3 years and 10 months. So, anybody got something they want to ask me before I let you hear some more from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
I have a brother here named Kareem Lamont.
Yes, Kareem Lamont.
Yes, sir. And he asked, Can you pray for the Lamont family, please?
Yes, I pray for you all the time. I pray for all of you all who believe in truth and righteousness. You're the only reason I keep standing up here teaching. It's for you all. I don't want you to give up. Don't ever give up on righteousness. Even in the movie industry, they teach you that in the end, righteousness, right always triumphs over wrong. Huh? So, you know, I mean, even the devil knows that in the end, he don't win. Why do you think he's gonna tell you at the final analysis? He's gonna say, "Blame me not." Allah promised you the promise of truth. It was Allah's word that you should have believed, not mine. That's what he was gonna tell you. When did I mean, you notice this man ran on the promise that he's gonna make America great again, right? Which was to say that America was not already great. And it took him getting sick and forgetting about what he had been telling everybody. And he said, this is the greatest nation on earth. Now that came from his mouth. The greatest doctors and scientists. That's what he called them. Didn't he? He forgot. So how you gonna make them great again if you know they already was the greatest? Of course, you all don't listen, and so you because you don't listen, and because you tune out anyone that you don't particularly like. It's like with me, people come in here and say I said something that I didn't say, and I have to correct them all the time. And because, you know, there's someone who really don't care to hear what you have to say. They're looking for something to justify rejecting me. And so they hear what they want to hear. They don't hear what I say. They hear what they want to hear. They try to make a straw man out of me in their mind. Then when they come trying to argue, and I straighten it out, and then they quietly ease on out. But the truth of the matter is, you supported a man who has now been directly and indirectly for the deaths of over 200,000 American citizens. And it ain't over because he's still president. If you ever get I'm going to give you the benefit of my hope for you. When you get a Congress in there and a president in there that really cares about this country, you're going to have to make laws and things that will not allow anyone else to do what this man did. You also need to make laws to make the Justice Department answerable to Congress and not to the president. You need to get them laws straight. Why not make the Justice Department answerable to the lawmakers? Even if you have to set up a special board, a special group, always equals Republicans and Democrats in Congress. And they need to be So it can't be no funny business. And if the Justice Department is doing something that's questionable, if someone needs firing, I'm not saying that the Attorney General has to be, the president can't appoint Attorney General. If he chooses an Attorney General, then you should have the last word. That Democrat and Republican equal, not no out of balance thing. It can be 4-4, 5-5, 6-6. Don't make no difference. But they have to agree that he can be the Attorney General. But after he's appointed, he no longer answers to the president. He answers to the lawmakers. That's something you need to be considering to do when you get a working Congress again. These people you got in there now, especially them who say we are Republican, they lying. They not Republicans. They are an insult to what Republicans supposedly represent. All you have to do is look at the history of the Republican Party and look at these people, and you'll know they don't. That's not the same party. No. So you got your work cut out for you. So just remember now, you got to make sure that in order for this to be a nation of laws, then the Justice Department has to be independent of the presidency. And if they investigate something and find, how in the world are they going to protect you with investigation if the very people that they are investigating have the authority to fire them? That's a crock. You know what needs fixing now. You can thank Donald Trump for showing you what needs fixing, because he'd have made a mockery of your Justice Department. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you can vote him out of there and vote people into Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives that truly care about the United States, you can fix this problem. You see? You have the power to fix it. And I'll tell you something else. When appointing Supreme Court justices should not be in the hands of just the president or whatnot. You need to have a body of final judges, which would be Democrats and Republicans, that agree that a Supreme Court justice will be a unbiased upholder of the Constitution and not no political advocate. That's what you need to do. And the court should also be balanced. That's another way of assuring that there is no funny business up there on the highest court in the land. And if you're going to put somebody on the Supreme Court, you should be absolutely sure that they respect and understand the Constitution of the United States. Now that's, I'm telling you now. You see what happened when you just let anybody become. How in the world do you let someone become president that otherwise could not be given a security clearance because of some shady background they got going on there? Well, how that alone should disqualify them. Of course, I understand the principle behind that. But if you have a Justice Department that you scrutinize properly, and you know how to vet people, you know how to scrutinize, then you wouldn't have people playing politics just to keep someone from being able to run for president. And just because a person has had a few scrapes or whatnot in life, that does not disqualify them. You have to see whether it's habitual or whether it was just a scrape. And if that be the case, bring it out and publicize it. If they want to run and the people want to elect them, publicize it and let it go. And let the people decide. But you also need to make sure that your school system is in proper repair. I said the school system is in proper repair. Properly fund the school system. Pay salaries that will attract the finest teachers. And put the finest teachers from grade school to 12th grade. And then go back to teaching like you used to. A high school education could get you any job in America. I'm not saying eliminate college. I'm simply saying if you do it right, then when people come out of high school, they're ready to enter into the workforce. And they are also ready to cast an intelligent vote. So I had some teachers in elementary, junior high, and high school that helped me to grow up. They embarrassed me when I did something stupid. And at the same time commended me when I got the message. And my parents didn't call themselves gonna go down there and jump on some teacher because that teacher got on me, because I wasn't gonna go home and tell them no way. Because I know they was gonna side with the teacher. And they was right. It's just like me. Ain't no sense me standing up here lying. I was not no model boy. I was all boy like all the fellas that I ran with. And whatever I could get away with, I got away with it. They ain't gonna call me no square. I mean, really. If I had followed my parents' instructions all of the time, I wouldn't have experienced a lot of things that I experienced. I was hard-headed, and but I'm so thankful that most of the older people that I came in contact with, they would always get on me when I was hard-headed. And they might say, look, your daddy know you around here doing that? So maybe I need to talk to your dad. No, sir, you don't have to talk to him. I'm gone. So the community helped keep me from tripping. And I'm just thankful now as I look back on it. Glad my parents taught me to be respectful, because maybe if I had not been respectful, a lot of older people that used to give me advice, if I had been disrespectful, they wouldn't have cared enough about me to give me advice. You're not doing your children any favor by teaching them to be disrespectful. All you're doing is closing doors that may need to be open for them when you can't look out for them. I appreciate it when my sons or daughters tell me about experiences they done had when they was out and said strangers just came up and helped them, or people that, that knew them that they didn't know. And just, and I told them, I say, yes, if you go around being respectful, people watching you, people see you. Respect people. Treat people like you would like them to treat you. Because you never know when you're going to need some help. And don't just do it because you're looking for them to help you later. Do it because by practicing doing the right thing, that's what the root word of righteous is. It's right. And the more you practice doing the right thing, pretty soon, it just comes naturally for you and you become righteous. When you just spontaneously do the right thing, that is the most blessed condition you could be in. Is to do right without having to think about it first. Like in the military, when you hear that shot, you don't stand up and look around, you hit the deck. And they teach you to do that until it becomes a natural reflex. And that could save your life. Because the one you heard, it's done already passed you. Now you can stand up there looking around and you think you're going to see it coming? You better hit the deck. And then look to see if you can see a muzzle flash or whatever. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off into all of that. Just, did anybody have something else they wanted to ask me? It's almost been 3 hours here. And Nobody? Well, I just wanted you to know that everything that It's written. The messenger was asked about the promised land. And he gave an answer that people wasn't expecting.
Going to come back and stand with you promised land, and I part of the paperwork.
Also, he says that he read in the Muhammad speech recently that you were going to come back to the temple and reveal where the promised land was. But he says he's been following Muhammad's speech and he has not truly revealed that, and he wanted to know if you intended to. Have a face where you're in now? And he has not truly revealed that, and he wanted to know if you intended to. Have a face where you're in now? To the temple and reveal where the promised land was. But he says he's been following Muhammad's speech, and he has not truly revealed that, and he wanted to know if you intended to. Have a face where you're in now? The apostle, he says that he read in the Muhammad speech recently that you were going to come back to the temple and reveal where the promised land was. But he says he's been following Muhammad's speech and he has not truly revealed that, and he wanted to know if you intended to. Have a face where you're in now?
I don't even think that the person who asked the question understood what was meant by the promised land. America is the land of promise. When you're talking about promised land, you are asking, where is the land that prophecy, which is promises from God, where is that land at? That's the land of the promised prophecy. Well, it's no secret now. Where was Abraham's seed? Where was any people held in slavery or bondage? You notice, at the time when that prophecy existed, when it was made to Abraham, there was no United States of America. And look how the prophecy is written. Did you ever take a closer look at how that prophecy is worded? Look what it says. This is the 15th chapter of Genesis and the 12th verse. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. How come it didn't name the nation? How come it didn't name the land? Because the nation did not yet exist. And the land was not yet known. Huh? So now we know. All you have to do is follow Abraham's seed. Find me a people besides this so-called Negro in America that have been enslaved and treated as property for 400 years. Who besides us? Well then, this is the land of promise. Huh? So now everything is coming about, even to the point where God appeared unto Moses. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was the one that appeared to me. God appeared to me in him. And he told me that I'm the God of the universe. Of course, I didn't believe it. And he even said that. He said, I know you will not agree with me, but you will grow to agree with me. So he definitely, let me see here. I might can find that. Let's see. I got so many things here that, let's see. That was in the Theology of Time. And try to figure out which one it is. Give me a minute here. Let me see. Trying to figure out which one it was. Let's see. Might have been this one.
That they see anything like a end of brightness. There is no end of brightness. And look at what he was made out of. How he made himself out of the material that comes last. The material of darkness comes last in the action of life. And he taken that darkness, created himself out of that which comes last, so that there would never be a last to himself. I'm very sorry over you that want to honor in the faith, in the favor of this world, and try and pity this world of a world that had no beginning and no end. You can't calculate the hour, the day, year of the creation. It's impossible. There was no writer there creation, because the Creator had made a writer out of himself first. And it was 6 trillion years after that writing took place, after his own creation. Well, I can be called a liar like all the others before me, who was prophets, reformers of people. I don't expect you to give me credit, but you will grow to do that.
You hear that? He said, I don't expect you to give me any credit, but you will grow to do that. He said it took 6 trillion years before we developed writing. Why? Because we didn't see no need for it. But the history and recited it. Do you understand? It's just like It was a matter of fact, for the whole 6,000 years that white people have been ruling. They kept records through writing for the, they developed their writing skills and whatnot, and they wrote books and kept ledgers, didn't they? And you notice these tape recorders and stuff, that came after their 6,000 years was up. Huh? I told you, this stuff was all for me to judge you. You see? This is our record that speaks against you. This is what's the root word of record? I mean, of recording. It is record, isn't it? How do you spell record? R-E-C-O-R-D, right? How do you spell record? This is our record that speaks against you. Surely, we wrote, we recorded what you did. Huh? Now, as the messenger, he told us and told me, he said, I know you will not agree with me, but you will grow to agree with me.
All the others before me, who was topics, reformers of people, I don't expect you to give me the credit, but you will grow to do that. I tell you today, but you will grow to it tomorrow. You're not able, with the knowledge of this world, to see into what I'm teaching you of a world that have no birthright, that would correspond enough with the question I answer, rather, for you to take what I'm teaching.
As he said, you couldn't create a thought that would correspond with the answer to whatever question or knowledge that he was sharing. You couldn't even create a thought to argue with him on nothing he was saying. Just like with me. You ain't got nothing to argue with me on. You don't have enough in you to produce an argument against me.
I don't only defy you, poor sister, but I defy the sanctors of this world to attack what I'm teaching you and prove that I am teaching you something false just because it is not of his world knowledge. I will give to any professor of the white man's world 10,000 and 10,000 times 10,000 to prove one word I teach you untrue.
You notice, I'm the only one who don't back away from the teachings that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was so attacked for and so rejected for. He offered 10,000, and he said 10,000 times 10,000. If you can prove one word that he taught was other than the truth. How come nobody challenged that when he was offering it? And then you had these people walking around here talking about y'all teaching hate. Well, if calling white people devils If that was not a true statement, then that was hate teaching. But if it's the truth, and even the white man agrees it's the truth because he called himself devils. He said, well, speak of the devil. And he laughed about it. He even called himself, he did that right in front of us, knowing that we was dead mentally and spiritually, and we couldn't hear it. What's up, Bub? Bub is short for Beelzebub. So he didn't want to. I don't come here backing away from what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. I don't come here backing away from what Jesus taught. I don't back away from what Moses taught. I don't back away from what Muhammad ibn Abdullah taught. I verify that they taught the truth. And that's what Allah told them. He said, what I have given you of book, the part I've given you of book and wisdom, but then a messenger will come to you, verifying that which is with you. You shall believe in him and you shall aid him. Then he said, do you affirm and accept my compact, my agreement with you on this? They said, every one of them said, yes, we do affirm. Well, then this is how you will aid him. You bear him witness. And I too am of the bearers of witness with you. Huh? So that's how they helped me. I called them to witness. And we shall call thee as a witness against these. This is all written. This is not something that's not written down. So if anybody want to clown, I'll go to it and show you where it's written down. Huh? Yeah. So it's not no thing that I don't say things that I don't know what I'm talking about. You do that. And now you done found out that your lies can't get past me. So here this man, President of the United States, calling a virus that's done killed 212,000 Americans a gift from God. Is that sane? I told you you're going to see him lose his mind right there on TV. Need to be somewhere in the hospital recuperating from that virus if he really got it. And instead, he around here talking about he's politicking. Can you imagine what they'd have been saying if they could have been successful transmitting that virus to Joe Biden and his people? Oh, he had a field day with that one, wouldn't it? Okay, but Allah is the best knower. I thank Allah for protecting the Vice President, former Vice President Biden. And how many of you all think that I'm a threat to you? I'm talking to white people. How many of y'all view me as a threat to you? You know, if you do, I'd like to know why. How am I a threat to you? How is black people in America a threat to you? See how they knowingly just tell bold-faced lies? How come you don't stop Donald Trump when he's standing up there trying to tell people that he's going to keep you safe from black people here and black people there? Black people can't buy no house someplace where ain't no house for sale. Huh? Y'all need to cut that foolishness out. And so I'm going to tell you, I don't want to live in your community. I don't want to live in a community and the only black face in there. I'd rather be around my own people. I always thought that a bouquet of roses, red roses, was much prettier than a bouquet of mixed flowers. And you know, I think we all should be around our own people. And who want to be around you and you don't want to be around your own people? You need to learn to love your own people before you start talking about moving over somewhere else. And once you truly love your own people, won't nobody have to tell you that you should have a community and build up a nice place to show your intelligence like other people do. Sooner or later, you're going to have to wake up to the fact that you cannot move out of poverty. You move poverty out of you. So I want you to know that I love you. You are my people. And I remind you that I don't make no plans that I'm not thinking about how it's going to benefit you too. So you just have to be patient with me because, you know, I don't have unlimited resources yet because you haven't got behind me yet. But when you get behind me, I'll have all the resources I need. But I have to first show you that I can do something with the little resources that I do have. The few that have given me some resources. So just be patient. You'll see. So, well, it's been 3 hours. I'm going to stop right there. May Allah bless us, keep us safe, and in our right minds. And may Allah bless each and every one of you who hunger and thirst for His righteousness. May He bless you and keep you safe and your families, and not just in America, but all over the earth. And may you be surrounded with people who have your best interests at heart. And may you be governed by the same. And if there's governments that do not have your best interests at heart, I pray Allah to remove them and speedily remove them and replace them with some people in government that care about you. May Allah's Assalamu alaikum.